Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to show you my progress so far. In the last one we talked about making up the rocker, and so I've done that. What I've come up with, this is 53 inch 16 gauge steel, very heavy stuff actually, with our nice radius bend here and our 90 degree. Now the way I got this radius bend is I have a piece of steel with that radius down in the shop. And most of the pieces of steel I have that gentle radius. It's about like a 3/4 inch radius. Clamped it onto the bench this way round, tapped it over with the hammer to get it started, and basically I jumped on it. That's basically how I did it. Jumped it up and down, so I was able to make that bend. This 90 degree bend, I back scored the metal just gently on a straight line with a grinder very carefully. So this was able to bend on the 90 very easily. And then once that was bent, I re-welded that score area all the way down the length. It doesn't take that long. Smoothed it out, and now that's strong as houses. So, also, if you'll notice, you can see on camera, the distance from here to the 90 degree is 2 7/8. That's at the front of the rocker, at the front. Whereas towards the back, it extends to nearly 4 inches, right by the extension plate for the long body car. Starting this end, this is obviously where the jacking point was sitting, right in here, like so. And I cut that all out. All this metal is rotten here, obviously, up to about this area where it gets cleaned up. This beam is a main beam that goes from the bottom of the car all the way up to the roof line. I treated all of this area. It had surface rust on the inside of this beam. It's turned black, not because it's paint, but that is Permatex. There's a coating to kill the rust and chemically treat it, and then I will paint it as well with a frame coating. Then it's a simple case of punching my holes through this guy to eventually weld that back into place right there, you see, to our new piece that's going to go in here. And then when we turn the car, we can start working on the front section. That little bung there, that's a rubber bung right there, actually painted over it, not that it matters, but that ends up being very central to the jacking point, and that's where you can inject frame coating or fluid film or some rust preventative right into the center of this jacking point. So with that done, we got our box section broke here, so we got this broken away here, so this is where our cut line is going to be all the way along to our extension piece here. This is the factory extension piece, which dips down and then is spot welded here. These 3 spot weld breaks, this is where our patch is going to go, okay, and then this is where we're going to back weld a piece of metal on the good side, reaching over to the new side, so we can spot weld that in plus butt weld it. So I'm not relying on just butt welding. We've obviously got to put back the seatbelt anchor, and I've made a template to tell me where that goes in regards to this extension piece. I'll cut this section out and re-weld it to our new patch. You can see this pillar here is the main center B pillar. I'll zoom in on that there. Well, it's a little dark in there, you can't really see it, but that is all treated with Permatex in there as well. So let me back out and I'll show you how the rocker panel fits. So obviously I'm yet to decide where my final cut is, but essentially this end, obviously we're going to have to cut here for the end cap for the front of the rocker, but then we can put this in here now. I'll get it roughly fitted here. So obviously I can't put it all the way in because it's too big at the moment. Once we've established, you know, our cut line, right, the distance between here and the beginning of this piece that we treated with Permatex here, see, it's right in line with that, which is right here. That's what we'll spot weld to here. right? And then, where are we? Also on the B pillar, which is this piece here, that will get spot welded to there, like that. See it? That gives us a lovely foundation to spring from to continue on our mega repair on this side. Before I start cutting out too much metal here, I'm going to spin the car and put some extra bracing inside, because this is a very crucial area to remain stable. I wasn't concerned of here because we've added a lot of bracing to the door apertures and all different areas in the car, so we didn't get any flex. And so once this thing's in there, we're going to be really adding some strength back. In the last video I showed you this piece that goes diagonal across only on the driver's side. That is to protect the fuel lines that will make the cross from going straight front to back to front I should say, and then crossing the path. Obviously you can't have them like this because they're vulnerable for damage of things on the road. So then we have this section that gets welded in. Now what I did with this guy, I cut it down the center. Remember, it was all twisted and bent. Then I was able to straighten this metal, these two pieces, and now I'm in the process. You can see that side I've done, and then now I'm in the process of welding this back together, so it's all restored back nice. And then I'll treat all this with a rust killer and paint it, and then this is all will be straightened and cleaned, ready to spot weld. Let me show you onto the floor pan. Tucked back here is the floor pan. This is the driver's side and that one's the passenger side, and you can see they're strengthening pressings here. They're not on the diagonal, and that is where this guy sits, you see, just like that. So that will get spot welded back onto the floor. Right, so what I did today, I made our cut on our patch here all the way along. So what I ended up doing, not spot welding to the original extension piece, I ended up extending our patch, continuing so we don't have another join, and then we'll just carry on from this piece when we go on this area. So this is all one unit, and then once this goes in, this drops in, so this radius is in connection with this radius, I'll get it all clamped, and then we'll back score the original metal, cut it all out. This is going to be a little tricky cut. I'll probably have to come underneath inside with this cut. We dive up higher here because there's more rusty metal on the original here, and this section is extra wide all the way to the front, where I've cut my double angle. If you notice on 108s there, angle isn't just straight down, it's a slight jog here. It's very subtle. Once this is all welded in, then I'll finish my end cap here. We're good on our lip here. This will weld straight to this section that I've already sealed up, and because this needs bending a little bit, it's not quite at 90. See the one here? See, there's a slight gap there, but once we're cut in, that will drop straight in. See, because this is on top of the original right there. All right, a little bit more fettling around to make sure we've got our nice 90 degrees from here to here, because obviously we've got to weld in our jacking point before we put this in, because you can't access the jacking point on the inside because you've got this structure, this A-pillar structure blocking your way. So I'm going to make sure we know exactly where we're setting, make a mark, and then we know where to set our jacking point in, spot weld that in, and then we can bring it into the top, probably from the inside. I'm going to have to do it from the inside on the top, but it's gone in really nicely. It's corresponded nicely with the A and the B pillars here, and then our extension piece here, that'll be all cut in, and we've just got to scribe a line or paint a line or whatever, and then we'll cut it out, and we're ready to get this welded in. One last thing before I go, this is obviously the jacking point, right? And so when this goes in here and touches on the top of the inner rocker here, this flat plane should be slightly further this way, and for some reason it's not. Now this structure is undamaged, so for some reason this is slightly too long. So what I can do is I can adjust at the top here to essentially shorten the jacking point. So this flange comes a little further towards here, so that enables our rocker to come here and then flange this way. Sounds a little complicated. You can see it's just a little bit, if you can see that's a little bit over. So I can make that adjustment, that's pretty easy. Gonna have to spot weld from the inside here towards these, okay? This will get mounted on the rocker, inset in, and then spot welded on this side through on the inside. So, as I say, these chambers have been treated with Permatex, so that's why it turns black, and after 24 hours you can coat it. This is a frame coating paint, like an encapsulated paint with a lot of zinc in it. Good rust killing properties, or not killing, but I mean there's no way rust is going to form after this stuff is put on there. So I'm just going to coat the inside of all these box sections with this stuff, and then after this is dry and the car is back on the road, then these box sections can be treated with a, you know, like a fluid film or surface shield, which is actually supposed to be a better one. Well, I think that'll be it for this video, because I don't want it to run on too long. So I'm just going to I've scribed a line on the new patch onto the old metal. I'm going to use a straight edge clamp and run the grinder, the cutting wheel down the edge of the straight edge, so we get nice true edges. And in the next video I'll show you that I've spot welded a plate of steel on the old metal to give us a nice lip to also spot weld, and then butt join it as well. So thanks all for watching, guys. Please hit like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, ta-da, bye bye.